Here's a question I get time and time again from the members of TLOP's originator coaching community as it pertains to online lead generation. And I don't care if this is a question as it pertains to, should I enter into a Zillow co-branded marketing agreement with that brokerage down the road, or should I run ads online to generate leads? Whether or not you should or shouldn't is a personal decision. And I'm not anti and I'm not pro, because I see the benefits to online lead gen. I see the benefits of working with a brokerage to co-market through some kind of a lead generation activity. But what I also understand is that too few mortgage professionals conceptually understand how and why this particular strategy would work or why it wouldn't work. So what I want to talk about is, why would it work, right? How could I leverage spending money, whether they're on leads from myself or spending money with leads with a real estate brokerage? And how do I know if my money is being well spent? How do I know whether or not there's an ROI? And ROI is by far the most important. But what type of ROI? What are we actually gauging? What type of conversations are we having? And what are we expecting from our money spent? So the one thing that I see that loan officers and, quite honestly, marketing agencies do too often, and I don't think it's right, is they love to talk about cost per lead. I don't care about cost per lead. Cost per lead is garbage to me if none of those leads ever convert. I want to know about cost per acquired client, because if I'm spending money, whether they are on my own leads or whether I'm doing a co-marketing agreement with a real estate agent, I want to know how much money am I spending, and then for that money, how many new clients am I acquiring? Now, I don't need some crazy ROI of 5-to-1. I would love 5-to-1, but I don't need it. And I don't need it because I'm playing the long game. And I also find if too many marketing agencies and too many LOs care about the wrong things, such as cost per lead, they also don't understand the lifetime value of a closed client. So I have found too many times branch managers and loan officers were not willing to spend money on lead gen because they were anticipating an ROI that wasn't realistic. 5-to-1, again, would love to have it. I don't think it's realistic. And I don't think I need it in order for my marketing strategy to ever be considered effective. Here's what I mean. I know that in my branch that I operate, I'm willing to spend 25 basis points to acquire a new client. And in fact, in some of my branches, I'm willing to spend up to 50 basis points to acquire a new client. What's a client? A client to me is a happy, satisfied borrower who I've closed a transaction for. A client also is a referral source who may refer me 2 or 3 new potential customers every single month. And they all have a value. So if I'm willing to spend 25 basis points upwards to 50 to acquire a new client, that basically means on a $300,000 average loan size, I'm willing to spend $750 to $1,500. Now that means I may spend $1,500 a month on some kind of an online lead gen strategy. And at the end of the day, I'm only closing one loan every 2 months, at which point I'm getting a 1-for-1 for my money. I'm making $3,000 in commission, but I'm spending $3,000 to generate the necessary leads in order for me to acquire the new customer. A 1-for-1 is probably not what I'm looking for, but a 2-for-1, I'd be comfortable with a 2-for-1. And this is my reason why. If I can spend $1,500 a month to make $3,000 in commission, I know that in the short run, I'm not going to become rich off of that type of an ROI. However, I also know that that particular client that I was able to fund that has a listing agent attached to a transaction, I now have a chance to cross-sell the listing agent and turn them into a referral source. And I don't have to pay for the referrals that they generate. I also know that that client, if I'm any good at my job, has friends, family, and neighbors that all are going to need a home loan. And if I do my job well, I can turn one transaction into 2 additional referrals. Those 2 additional referrals that are going to come from my past client, they're going to come to me without me ever having to spend another dime. And then finally, I know my team and I are going to do a great job. And I know that this person's going to call me in 2 years for a refinance, and they're going to call me in 5 years when they want to purchase another property. So their refinance transaction, I don't spend money on. And when they call me back in 5 to 7 years to purchase another property, I don't have to pay for that lead another time either. So it's less about cost per lead. It's all about cost to acquire a client. And when I'm spending money, my rule of thumb is I prefer to spend 25 basis points, but I'm willing to spend up to 50 because I'm not worried about a 5-to-1 ROI. I'm comfortable with a 2-to-1. I would love a 3-to-1. And from time to time, I'm okay for a 1-to-1 on my money only because I understand that in the long run, it's not about this one transaction. It's about the referral source that I can generate from the transaction. It's about the leads I can generate while the transaction's in process. And it's about the repeat business that I won't have to pay a second and a third time for. So when you're considering whether or not you should deploy the strategy of online lead generation, please learn from my experience and heck, from my mistakes. Don't make it about cost per lead, make it cost per acquired client. And play the long game. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme, but this is a great way for you as a practitioner or you as a branch operator to grow your business in a calculated, methodical way that'll pay you dividends in the long run.